Derek Overstreet, founder of the New Millennium Group. We're a financial planning firm. We have advisors standing by right now to take your call. 888-999-6370. The reason you're going to want to call is we're going to help you retire 3 to 5 years before you thought possible. The way we do this is by putting together a step-by-step plan. So if you're one of those people listening and you'd like a plan in writing, give us a call at 888-999-6370. That's 888-999-6370, or go to utahsfinancialplanner.com.
Only one type of burger. For every pallet. Fries are extra. Large in size. We've got the shakes. Going over the brim.
Hey, this is Chris from JCW's. Put a positive, delicious spin on your day at any one of our 5 locations. In Lehigh, American Fork, Provo, South Jordan, or Harriman. JCW's, quality and a lot of it.
And now,
it's 10 a.m.
let's just get down to it.
And it's time for your sports fix.
Strap yourselves in, folks.
From 2 guys who have covered the teams you're passionate about for years.
We are professionals.
This is Jake Scott and Ben Anderson on 97.5 The KSL Sports Zone.
I don't mind losing money bailing Christian out of jail. It's just not a big deal. It's worth it.
97.5 The KSL Sports Zone. You bailed Christian?
Well, just like we were talking about how James Dolan loses money on the Sphere.
Oh,
There's some just like you bake in expenses in your life.
Oh,
like
and
bailing Christian out of jail. It's worth it. How are you, Christian? Are you doing better? Are you doing okay?
Yeah,
well, you told him last week.
Cold.
Yeah, Jake told you last week to start doing hardcore drugs before you have a kid. And it reminded me of what Christian ran into over the weekend.
I used that as an example. That wasn't my point.
But Christian, the nice thing about Christian and the bad thing about Christian is that he listens.
Yeah, so he went for it.
He heeded your advice.
He really went hard.
The officer did not. He didn't.
He did not
cool.
care that you had a kid coming next week. In fact, he shamed you, which was, I thought, over the line.
I'm about to have a baby. What do you want from me?
He said, "Sir, you're about to have a baby. It's 3 a.m. Go home." And so Christian called me in. Anyways,
put your clothes on, get in the car.
It's, you know what? It's in I've got it baked in. I just have a little money in my paycheck come out every month, and it goes to a different account. It's just for Christian. So, anyways, we're happy you're here, Christian.
Christian is here, which means his wife is still pregnant.
The baby's not here yet.
Not yet. Although Christian told me she walked like miles over the weekend to try and cry. And you told me you have tried scaring her?
Yeah, because they say like scaring makes hiccups go away, and I was like, oh, maybe if I scare her, it'll pop the baby out, and it didn't work. She just got mad at me.
I went to the Desert Edge Brewery the night before my son was born, and there's salsa and spicy food, which they also say helps. So. I don't know.
Are all these old wives' tales, or is that actually?
I think those are all old wives' tales.
Well, I could see the walking one makes sense. I mean, yeah, you're. There's like I could see a what am I looking for like a
correlation?
Physiological like that does make some sense.
Yeah.
But I don't know about the scaring one, or certainly the spicy food. That feels like a. But I guess you never know.
I don't know.
But that bun is still in the oven.
Yeah, still cooking.
It's gonna be ready.
More hardcore time for Christian.
This last week because you guys are due Friday. This last week's
gonna get crazy. Christian's gonna drive to Nevada. Although that might be a little far.
Well, whatever you got to do, I'll take her in.
She's like, Christian, I'm going to the hospital. Christian's like, oh, I'm in Elko.
I was setting up an elaborate scare. Get that baby out.
Oh man, one thing led to another, and we ended up in the car, and now we're in Elko. And by the way, I've lost $500. Oh man! All right. Well, good times, and we are glad to see Christian. How was your weekend, Ben? I appreciate you filling in for me on Saturday night.
I don't know if anyone heard it because our station was down apparently, so we were on 1160 AM. So shout out to whoever was listening on 1160 AM. And then it was just a dog of a game. Which had this been a traditional season, I would have maybe come in and shamed you for giving me a dog of a game. But how many of these games have you called over the last 4 years?
Plenty.
You've done 20 or 30 of these. So, no, honestly, happy to take it on. And I have not been able to help you this year. It's the first time I did a pre-half and post this year, so I was happy to do it.
And hanging out with Tim's always fun.
Of course. And Jamil.
And everybody. How's Jamil feeling?
Can't talk, but it's fine. He's already quiet. Now he has an illness. And
I felt so bad because I had to call you Saturday morning. I also called Jamil, and I kind of temporarily forgot that he has he's got a sore throat. He's sick, right? And so he's talking. He talks like this, and as soon as he answered, I was like, oh,
because he already talks quiet.
I probably shouldn't have called you.
Yeah.
Sorry, Jamil. But no, I do appreciate you filling in.
Happy to do it. Happy to do it.
I had you tell me if I'm well, not bad dad, but I assumed something over the weekend, and tell me if you would have done the same thing, and then we can get down to business. We can talk about the Sweet 16, or the Elite Eight, or
New Utah State head coach,
or the UDAM. Right. I went to the Aviary though with my kids because my wife's out of town, so I had a whole day with my kids, which was absolutely incredible. The new movie out there, Hoppers, the Pixar one, super good. We went and saw that. But we went to the Aviary, and I wanted to show them the bird. We wanted to go to the bird show. So one of the employees is walking around with like a macaw or something, and we're like, "Hey, is there going to be a bird show?" Because shout out to the Aviary, your signage for that sort of thing is below standard. And she's like, "Yeah, bird show at 11. Make sure you're there." Because we closed the doors right at 11 o'clock. So I said, okay. And we went off, and that was like a half hour later, half an hour. And so we came back in like 15 minutes because I was like, oh, we're going to get a good spot, right? To the amphitheater outside. Well, it came right up to 11, and I'm like, nobody is here.
I'm the only one here.
What is going on? And so I find out a short 10 minutes later that they actually have an indoor theater that they use.
Okay.
That is up at the front that we could not get into.
Oh, that's new.
Here's why I should have assumed something, because of course they're not going to do an outdoor bird show in the winter.
Okay.
And it's abnormally warm. But it took me a long time to realize that this wasn't happening. You know what I mean? Like at 5 to 11, I should have been like, what's going on?
When you recognized there were no bodies around, you should have started to say, I'm going to go figure out where this is.
Yeah. And so thus I've got disappointed kids. Because the next one wasn't until 1:30 or whatever, and we weren't hanging around that long, as we had been there already. And so, anyway, I'm really angry at myself.
But also, Saturday, it was like 75 degrees.
Yeah, well,
which
she
is why you were at the Aviary.
The lady could have said it's up here when I asked.
Yes, I agree.
Because I don't feel bad about naturally assuming it was going to be at the amphitheater, except for I should have known.
Which is where it always is.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I think you're in the clear, actually.
But at like 10:59, I should have been like, I think I'm in the wrong place.
Yeah, I need to go see where we are. I need to go see what's happening here.
All right. Well, thanks for making me feel better. It was a cool day.
Yeah, it's a great day. Aviary's cool.
You want to start with the Duke game?
It was crazy. I mean, it was certainly the game of the weekend, no question about it.
Man, I hate watching Dan Hurley win.
Christian DM'd us the video, which I had not seen.
I hadn't either.
The headshot of him going face to face with the ref after they hit the shot.
There's still time on the clock, by the way.
Yeah, like the game is still going. There's 3 or 4/10 of a second left. In fact, I think that's what the ref is going over to look at to see how much time left to put on the clock. And Bobby Hurley goes head to head with him. Danny Hurley goes head to head with him as if, he's been overserved and the bartender is kicking him out. Like what are you doing?
It's like an intimidation thing. Like he presses his forehead squarely against the referees, who is talking to him.
That ref should have teed him up.
He should have.
Absolutely teed him up. Said, fine, 2 free throws, Duke.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
What are you doing?
You do not get to touch me, much less not headbutt, but go head to head with me and stare down at me. That was so bizarre. But the story of the game is just an incredible comeback, a major collapse from the Duke Blue Devils, and of course the late turnover.
Duke was up 19. Do we have the call? We can let's play the call.
72-70, Duke by 2. Sarr to key the inbound now. Full court pressure from UConn. Sarr gets it into Cam Boozer. Boozer back to Sarr. Now ahead to Caden Boozer, and UConn got a steal. Caravan for Mullins. Long 3. He got it! Oh, he got it! He hit it! He hit the long three-pointer from the logo with 0.3 of a second left to go. I don't believe it. UConn has taken the lead.
Not a perfect call. There was a funnier call out there we will let you hear coming up here momentarily. But
that was Westwood one. That was the national one.
I was at the in-laws' house. We were getting ready for a pre-Easter / birthday dinner. And you know, it had been 19 and kind of watched the first half. And it's like, oh, this game's over. And had to drive out to Ogden, kind of monitoring it as we're going out there. And you get there, it's like, oh, it's a 12-point game. It's a 9-point game. And it just kept getting closer and closer. And then Duke was up 5 with 2 minutes to go and 90 seconds to go. And I thought, okay, they're not going to be able to do this. And then Caravan hits the 3 to cut it to 1, and Duke responds. But, I mean, this is the great part of it, and this is the nice thing about having a screen with you everywhere you go. We all huddled around at the kitchen table around a phone and watched it and screamed. It was a very classic March Madness moment, except for the play-by-play guy from Duke.
Get it in. They do for Boozer. Bobbled it. Back for Sarr. Needs to get rid of it. Does for Caden. 7 seconds. Trying to throw it ahead. Deflected. Stolen by Connecticut. 2 seconds. It's Mullins up top for the win. Oh, he hit it. With 0.3 of a second to go. Malachi Smith ran off the bench. That should be a technical. But with 0.3 of a second to go, Connecticut has the lead, 73-72.
No, they're not going to call a tech on somebody running off the bench. Though I wouldn't have a problem if they did. We've had too many coaches and players run onto the floor. Well, technically a team could inbound the ball. But, no, an amazing March moment. And poor John Shire's now been on the wrong end of 2 of those in back-to-back years. Bad turnovers against Houston, not being able to inbound the ball. And then just a pretty inexplicable decision by Caden Boozer. Though if you watch the bench, John Shire is telling him to pass the ball forward. Like, he is coaching him, not that I think Caden Boozer saw him, but John Shire is also saying, like, throw the ball into the front court.
I admire Caden Boozer after the game handling it and answering questions and all that stuff. That's
he owned it.
That's totally not easy, and good for him for doing it. And he should deserve credit for it. And I don't know about John Shire. Let's talk. We could talk about him in a minute, but as far as Caden goes, you have to be able to make the decision of just hold it and get fouled. You know, when 2 players are running at him, we've seen it a million times in the NBA. I mean, you see players make that calculation as they're trying to pass the ball around. You know, I can picture, I don't know why Jordan Clarkson comes to mind, but I could picture Jordan Clarkson going to throw the pass and then
tucking
it in because no, you're going to take the foul, because that's exactly what would have happened, right? And so to try, I would guess, either intentionally or not, he didn't want to take those foul shots.
Very true. Yeah, you're trying to get off the ball.
I would guess he did not want to take those foul shots. I wouldn't either, by the way.
No, those are huge.
But he has to make a better decision, and he has to be more prepared. I mean, you got to go over these scenarios a zillion times. I mean, this is what college basketball so often comes down to, are these silly decisions in these last mania-filled moments. You're going to have these, situations, and you got to be prepared to make it. And then, secondly, and I'd have to go back and look because it wasn't a Boozer. I'm trying to remember who it was. How did they not get their hands up on that last shot?
Oh, I think it's Sarr or unless it's Isaiah Evans.
Wild. And speaking of Shire, you can see him. They did a shot of him when it happened, and he is screaming.
Yeah.
Get your hands up.
Yep.
Get your hands up. The guy had his hands in his pockets, and he nailed that shot. I got to wonder if he just got a hand up.
Anything.
Mullins, who hit that shot, he actually changed his Instagram handle to get a hand up.
That's funny.
To troll.
Absolutely.
Player,
Oh, my gosh. Your percent chance of making that shot maybe gets cut in half just by the defender
running at you
with a hand up.
Whether they have a hand up or not. No, there was a lot of mistakes. The first one being, well, you can go ahead.
No, I think all that stuff lands on Shire, honestly.
Absolutely. And here's the other thing. They had a timeout. So he should have called a timeout and just said, look, man, we're going to execute this. Like, they're going to trap. John, you lost in the Final Four last year specifically because you guys could not inbound the ball and get it across half court. Like, I think you have to call that timeout there. If you don't call the timeout, your team needs to know that there is 10 seconds left on the clock exactly when you're inbounding it, which means you do not need to get across the half court line.
No.
Meaning if you just want to hold it, now maybe there would be a jump ball. I don't know who has possession in all honesty, but yeah, you can just inbound the ball and dribble it out in the backcourt. You do not have to get over the half-court line or the timeline, as they like to call it in college. You just have to inbound the ball and hold on to it. And if it does seem like there's an issue, just call a timeout. And those are all on John Shire, no question about it. His team was not aware of what was going on in the game, and then Caden Boozer made a horrible pass on top of it. But Yeah, there was a lot that Duke did wrong, and then, as you mentioned, just no attempt to stop the shot, to give up a three, which is the one thing that can hurt you. And just turns into one of the great legendary moments of all time.
But if you are a coach, and here's where I feel bad for John Shire, I'm sure he has told his players a million times, just get a hand up.
Yep.
That's the least you could do. Literally, the least you could do, just get a hand up. And as he watches his player pull the lint out of his pocket instead of getting a hand up, I'm sure he's going crazy inside, right? But at the same time, you got to make sure your players know what to do. They're prepared.
Yeah, that's your job.
That's your job.
Your job as the head coach is to have them prepared. And if you're in a spot where, hey, maybe they've never run into this before, call a timeout. That's exactly what your timeout is for.
And I just couldn't believe how nonchalant Duke was after the turnover. I mean, it's related to the keeping your hands down thing. But did you see how lack of urgency to get back on the possession? I mean, it was wild.
And look, this was kind of an issue for Duke, actually, to begin the tournament as well. Who did they beat? Siena? And do you remember, I think it was Isaiah Evans after, who was like, he literally said, we thought it was going to be a cakewalk. It's like, dude, this is the NCAA tournament. Everyone's playing for their lives here. You can't ever say anything you expected it to be a cakewalk. That's not what happens at this level. And in fact, he was in the tournament, I think, last year. I think this is his sophomore season. So, no, you can't ever think that that's going to be the case. And then to approach the final play of the tournament that way was a huge mistake.
Yeah, what a collapse. And I read a list of Shire's collapses in the tournament there at Duke. He's going to get himself a rep if he's not careful.
Yeah.
Which is not a rep you want to have, and it's a rep that's really difficult to shake.
I'm watching the split screen right now of the whole world falling apart for Duke. And I like Duke way more than most people do. I'm not like a Duke fan, but I don't have an anti-Duke agenda that I think a lot of people just naturally have because of their history of success.
Uh-huh.
But, man, it is funny to watch John Shire just have this entire thing collapse in front of him.
I was happy to see your Purdue Boilermakers lose.
They did not.
Man,
escape.
I can't stand the Big Ten. I'm really disappointed. We have two Big Ten teams in the Final Four, but Arizona looks really good.
Arizona and Michigan look elite. I was very impressed with what we saw from Illinois as well, and then UConn. I think UConn is the worst of the group, but they might have the best coach of the group.
Oh, don't give Dan Hurley credit. Stop that.
Hurley knows how to make adjustments.
Any idiot can win at UConn, including that idiot.
And they've got some talent, but I think they have the least amount of talent of all the three teams, or all the four teams remaining. They have the least, not star power, but also star power, but just overall depth and top-tier players. I think that's going to belong to the other three.
I hope he loses by 30 and then cries about it to the other team, the officials afterwards.
Hope they don't screw you like they screwed us.
Oh man, if I'm his next, like
he's just won 2 titles. Relax.
Listen, I'm the type that says referees should just do their job no matter what. But if I'm on the next crew that has Dan Hurley after seeing that headbutt move,
Rudy Gobert.
Yeah, you're getting Rudy Gobert. It's going to be a long night for you.
Hope you've got a good assistant.
Yeah. What are you going to do
now?
Headbutt me? I'll call the technical foul, pal.
Have we seen a statement on that yet?
I haven't.
Christian, let's keep an eye out for a statement from the NCAA or the refs on that, because that, if you haven't seen it, he goes head to head with a ref right after the shot, as if
they connect.
They connect as if the ref had tried to take something away from him. Anyways, where UConn is lucky is they do not have to face one of what I think are 2 best teams remaining, which are Michigan and Arizona. I do think those teams meeting in the bracket in the Final Four on the same side is a real advantage for either Illinois or UConn, because that a lot of people think whoever wins that game is going to win the title, but they are going to beat each other up. Those are 2 huge, very good teams.
Yeah, Michigan is huge, and speaking of like reps or cliches in the tournament, you have to have guards to win in the NCAA tournament. Size still matters.
Yeah,
size in basketball still matters. Ask BYU. I mean, essentially, that's what did them in against Texas.
Did you see there were 2 late game subs for Michigan because they were up 30 in that game? It was just a disaster of a game. Did you see who they put in? It's the coach's kid.
Oh, yeah.
And the other name you would recognize, young man named Howard Isley Jr.
Wow, really?
Yeah, it looks nothing like his father.
His father had a very unique look.
And was quite thin.
Oh, not thin.
And Howard Isley Jr., more of a bowling ball.
Oh, a little beefy.
Yeah.
Can he play? He's on Michigan.
Yeah, but no, because he didn't get in until they were up by 30, and everyone was chanting Howie because I think they wanted to see him hit a shot late.
Still on the roster.
Still on the roster.
With the coach's
He's in the
kid.
Final Four. Absolutely. So shout out to Howard Isley Jr. and Sr.
At least the coach has enough shame not to give his kid like a roll.
Well, his kid got a 3. His kid hit a 3, and the crowd went bananas. Yeah. Howie did not.
So anyway, cool weekend.
Great weekend of basketball.
Got the Final Four now all set, and we can all cheer against Dan Hurley together.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the case. Because Illinois is cool. Everyone likes Illinois. What's Illinois' coach name again?
Oh, now you're putting me on the spot. As we're both searching for it.
Oh, I'm sorry. Brad Underwood.
Oh, yeah, right.
Who I like quite a bit.
So we'll see. I hope UConn loses by 1 million.
Actually, I like the coaches left outside of Hurley. It's not like the little dictator person, Mick Cronin, Hurley.
Anybody
both
like
Hurley.
that?
I don't like those
Hurleys.
types of those coaches. I like the other 3.
Like that?
Yeah.
Toughest guy on this team's got to go do radio.
Okay,
Mick. I can't believe Mick still has a job after all the bad press he got this year.
Yeah, he wins.
I can't believe Dan Hurley has a job after headbutting a referee.
He wins.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's so crazy with this team. You're right. They should have called a technical foul on that. 1,000%.
that should have been a team.
It should have cost them the game.
Yeah, which would have been so poetic.
Amazing.
Yeah, incredible.
All right, stay tuned. Top 3 stories of the day at KSLSports.com. Coming up next, the Jazz played over the weekend. Utah State has a new head coach. We'll get to it all straight ahead on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
This is Mike Bolo of Lexicon Valley.
And I'm Bob Garfield. Are you one of those people who sometimes uses words?
Do you communicate or acquire information with, language?
Hey, us too. So join us on Lexicon Valley to chew over the history, culture, and many mysteries of English, plus some wisecracks.
Find us on one of those apps where people listen to podcasts.
Hey, sweetie, your mother showed me this Carvana thing for selling the car. I'm going to give it a try. Wish me luck. Me again. I put in the license plate. It gave me an offer. Unbelievable. Okay, I accepted the offer. They're picking it up Tuesday from the driveway. I haven't even left my chair. It's done. The car's gone. I'm holding a check. Anyway, Carvana, give it a whirl. Love ya.
So good, you'll want to leave a voicemail about it. Sell your car today on Carvana. Pickup fees may apply.
It's time to break down the biggest stories of the day. This is the top 3 stories of the day on KSLSports.com. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. It is time for the top 3 stories of the day. KSLSports.com, brought to you by J. Brooks Jewelers. Explore their expertly crafted engagement rings made from the finest materials. J. Brooks Jewelers. All right, Christian, where do you want to start today?
Number 1, Utah State gets their guy.
Ben Jacobson is going to be the new head coach at Utah State. He comes over from Northern Iowa, 55 years old, which I do think is a big part of the story, and signs a 5-year deal. This is a coach who spent the last 20 years at Northern Iowa, has averaged 20 wins a game, probably had a lifetime contract as long as he wanted to be there, but decided to make the jump to Utah State, where he's going to be making, I'd imagine, more money and continue to have a chance to compete for conference titles.
This has a very kind of a Stu Morrill-esque feel to it, which I like. Going with the up-and-comers, again, has been very successful, and I wouldn't blame them if they would have gone that direction again. And maybe this guy does leave in 2 years.
Yeah,
maybe he's decided finally.
He's not 65.
Yeah, maybe he's decided finally to climb the ladder. I don't know. Yeah. But I like the fact that he stayed at a small program for 20 years and didn't stay there because he was an average coach. He stayed there because he obviously wanted to. I mean, the same way with Stu. He averages well over 20 wins a season with Utah State.
Yeah.
He could have taken any number of jobs. Right. He just didn't. I'm guessing that Ben Jacobson could have taken any number of jobs, but decided that he wanted to stay for whatever reason. He was happy or whatever. So this does ring to me like maybe somebody that has a chance of, as long as he likes Logan, I suppose, sticking around for a little bit. The other thing I really like about it, Ben, is because this guy learned how to win with nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, Northern Iowa, they don't have any resources.
He's probably won with a lot of guys like you win with it at Utah State.
He's got
less talented.
He's had to coach up players, figure out a way to keep them without any resources, and be competitive and win. And I think that's important. Not that Utah State has fewer resources than Northern Iowa. I'm sure that's not true. But Utah State is going to probably be in the middle to the bottom of the Pac-12 when it comes to resources. So to have a coach that's going to make a dollar out of a dime, or at least has experience doing that, I think is probably a pretty good thing.
He won 4 Missouri Valley Conference titles during the regular season. He won 5 tournament titles. So he's been to the tournament, 5-6 times in his career. He's been there a lot, or 9 times in his career. So, this is a good history. This is a guy who's won a lot. And, I guess the question is does he view Utah State as this was my ability to cash in? Because I bet they're paying him pretty well to get him to jump from Northern Iowa because he has been able to win there. Or is he saying, hey, this is a chance to springboard to the next job where I've seen these other guys get paid? But regardless.
And honestly, I don't know, but there is a chance. He says, I can win at Utah State and I can be the head coach there for as long as I want, which is true if he wins.
And he has won. He has got a great resume. We'll see if he's bringing players with him. I don't know. We'll see who he's able to retain at Utah State. I don't know. But I think this is a good hire. I mean, at its face, we don't know if it's going to work out, obviously. But
and I don't know anything about this guy, so I have no idea. Yeah. But I like the concept of him.
And I will say the Missouri Valley Conference is a very good basketball conference. It punches well above its weight. And you can look at the teams that have been in it, Belmont, Bradley, Illinois State, Murray State, Valpo. We have seen these teams be dangerous in the tournament seemingly every year when they get there. So he knows how to win against those teams and has himself been that team. So good for Utah State, good for Ben Jacobson.
I just hope for the Aggies' sake that Mason Falso likes him.
Agreed. Most importantly.
All right, what's next?
Number 2, the Jazz had a game in Phoenix on Saturday. I think nobody must have told them that or something. They might have forgot to show up.
Second night of a back-to-back, and on Friday night they played very well in Denver, so I wasn't terribly surprised. But again, we know what this Jazz season has been about, and they are coasting towards that now. This was about holding on to this year's pick. And they nearly beat Denver and kind of put that into some doubt. But Dallas did go on the road and win at the Portland Trailblazers. So now what do the Jazz have, 7 games left? The Jazz are 3 wins behind the Dallas Mavericks and I think 2 wins still ahead of the Sacramento Kings. The Jazz are going to finish with the 5th worst record in the NBA, which means they have a 99.4% chance of holding on to the pick.
It doesn't matter.
I will tell you that's the priority.
They're going to lose the pick either way. It doesn't matter. Whatever, it doesn't matter.
I do not believe Adam Silver is picking specifically on the Jazz, though I know they did get hit with a $500,000 fine. So did the Pacers. They got hit with not a $500,000 fine, but
they ain't getting the first pick either.
Yeah, they're most likely they're definitely not getting the first overall pick, but the Jazz are doing everything they can, minus going to the 4th seed, which they're not going to get to hold on to this pick. And
they really should have gotten to 4 and left no doubt.
The Jazz are, that would certainly make some fans.
By the way, I'm kidding. Although I do think the NBA has no problem picking on the Jazz. I do think that's a thing. And I do think that sometimes the NBA maybe gets a little creative with who gets what pick. I don't rule that out.
Sure.
But I think it's likely the Jazz keep their pick, obviously.
It's 1 in 175 chance that they lose the pick. So it's still possible.
Dallas had a 1% chance of getting the number 1 pick last year.
Sure. So
the Jazz got jumped by all 3 teams.
Yeah, 4.
4.
Yeah, they fell
by
from 1
4
to 5.
teams.
And the Jazz have never had a lot of lottery luck. They traditionally move down. On average, they move down because they've only moved up once with that Nets pick. But I know there were a lot of Jazz fans that were doing a lot of hand-wringing late in the season and calling Will Hardy an idiot and thinking the Jazz were not focused on the lottery and thinking, they don't know what they're doing.
Those people aren't watching. Because I don't know how you can have that take if you're watching every game.
Sure.
If you've seen the extent that Will Hardy has gone to lose basketball games, Denver being a primary candidate.
Anderson Garcia played 48 straight minutes. That's weird.
This is the...
Who?
Yeah, right.
You cannot ask young players to boot games. You can't.
You can't ask anyone to boot games.
You can't ask players to boot games. You can't. So Bozo 1234 on Twitter, Will Hardy cannot pull Anderson Garcia, who's no longer on the team, but they can't pull him aside and say, stop rebounding the basketball.
Right.
He can't pull Bryce Sensabaugh aside and say, I need you to miss these shots on purpose.
Yep.
You can't ask players to do that.
Nope.
And, this wasn't the case in Denver, but like we've been talking about with all these just wretched Eastern Conference teams, short of asking players to lose on purpose, and to take a dive. I don't know what else they could have done. They haven't had a center in months. Ever since Nurk went down with the beak injury, they haven't had a center in months.
Cody started at center. Anderson Garcia has started at center. Ace has played some center.
They haven't played Kevin Love.
Correct. Yeah, Kevin Love is sitting there. You know who got on the floor the other night? Svi. Out of nowhere.
Stop it. Really?
11 minutes, 14 points. He came in and just shredded. He shredded the Suns. It was hilarious.
Svi HT.
11 minutes, 14 points, 5 of 6
Let the man
from the
eat.
floor.
I totally don't blame him.
Yeah. No, he went out and absolutely right. He's like, I've been waiting for this.
For a long time now.
He had not played since March 2nd.
Yeah. He came in and just shredded.
The Jazz against the Nuggets didn't play Phil.
They rested Cody Williams in the fourth quarter. They pulled Cody with 10 minutes left in the fourth. They're like, we got to figure out a way to lose this game.
Anybody clowning Hardy for not trying hard enough to lose, which is such a funny insult or a funny criticism. Yeah. Like, I beg to differ.
Yeah.
I think he's going to great lengths not to win these basketball games. They made a behind-the-scenes deal with the Wizards to split it.
Yeah.
In my theory.
But the Jazz have positioned themselves to do what they need to. Tonight, Donovan Mitchell back in town with the Cleveland Cavaliers.
I wonder how hard they're going to have to try to lose to Donovan.
You just never know. Some of these teams roll into Salt Lake and just think the season is over, and it's not. These young players are still fighting for their lives, and I don't think the Jazz are going to beat enough teams for it to matter, but we will see.
What's next?
Number 3, the Utah Mammoth. Fighting for the number 1 wildcard spot. They got a big win at the LA Kings, 6-2.
Can't win at home. In fact, only won one game in the month of March at home. They went 1-6-0, which had they won a couple of those, I think this wild card would have already been wrapped up. But to their credit, when it looked like they were falling apart, which has kind of been the story of the season, they did find a way to battle back and then got a huge one. Was it 6-2? I mean, that was a pretty dominant victory. They were up 3-1 after one. Over the Kings, and the Kings are in the third place spot right now for the wild card. So had they lost that game and the Kings had won, they would have been only up 4 points on the team trying to displace them and would have been only 1 point ahead of Nashville. Nashville, who was red hot, has suddenly lost 3 in a row. So the Mammoth are still 5 points up on that top wild card spot.
And 6 up on the Kings. But the number I'm keeping an eye on, Ben, is what Nick Olczyk told us to watch, 90 to 95. That's where they've got to get to lock down that first wild card position.
8 games left to play. They're at 82, so that would be 4 more wins to get to 90.
So keep an eye on that number.
Yep, and the more the better. But they are playing very well on the road. And now they've got this crazy long break. Again, we get these weird spots. They don't play again until Thursday. They played on Saturday, so they're getting a lot of rest right now before they step back out there and get back in action on the road at Seattle.
Got to figure out a way to get those W's.
Yep.
All right, stay tuned. More Jake and Ben coming up next, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Every day, the world gets a little weirder and a lot more awesome. Cool Stuff Daily takes a look at everything from mining in space to the latest in the fight against cancer to how AI is, well, basically changing everything. It's all the cool stuff you didn't know you needed to know. Join us for Cool Stuff Daily as we take a quick look at science, tech, and the wait, what stories that make you sound way smarter at dinner. Subscribe to Cool Stuff Daily now, because the future's happening fast, and it's way too fun to miss.
Did you know fluoride is not available in Utah water systems, and fluoride supplements work best from 6 months to 16 years old? A healthy smile isn't just about teeth, it's about health and confidence. Your smile matters. Find resources at yoursmileutah.org.
I sold my car in Carvana last night.
Well, that's cool.
No, you don't understand. It went perfectly. Real offer, down to the penny. They're picking it up tomorrow. Nothing went wrong.
So, what's the problem?
That is the problem. Nothing in my life goes as smoothly. I'm waiting for the catch.
Maybe there's no catch.
That's exactly what a catch would want me to think.
Wow, you need to relax.
I need to knock on wood. Do we have wood? Is this table wood?
I think it's laminate.
Okay, yeah, that's good. That's close enough.
Car selling without a catch. Sell your car today on Carvana. Pickup fees may apply.
Whether it's the Jazz, Utes, Cougars, or Aggies, these guys have got you covered.
Time to eat, fellas.
You're locked on to Jake Scott and Ben Anderson.
1, 2, 3, move it.
On 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. We're teaming up with Beehive Meals, honoring people that impact youth sports in our communities. Nominate the youth sports volunteer for the Beehive Meals Hero of the Week. Check it out at kslsports.com/contest and listen every Thursday to JJ and Alex for the winner. It's the Beehive Meals Hero of the Week. Story broke right after our show, Ben. Tiger Woods got arrested for DUI and rolled his SUV, which is not funny.
No, it's not.
And if you read the story, I mean, Tiger was driving like a maniac. He was coming right up on this. A guy was pulling a trailer with a pickup, clips the trailer, rolls over, and then the cops got there and said he was obviously impaired. Now, was not drunk.
Correct.
But did decline the, what do they call it? The
breathalyzer and then the urinalysis. Well, no, he did do a breathalyzer. It was all zeros.
But then declined the urinalysis, which is an automatic arrest. And, we'll see where it goes. But
I'm sure his lawyer was thrilled. You know what I mean? Because it gives him wiggle room to argue whatever they want to argue. But
I bring this up, Ben, just for, honestly, the only reason is, have you ever, I'm sure you have had people in your life that have had substance abuse issues?
Yeah, of course.
The story came out today. I think it was in Page 6. It was somewhere. That the reason the Tiger doesn't get a driver, because that's what we all ask ourselves. Like, Tiger, you're worth $1 billion. Right. Just get a driver. What's
One
the matter
appearance will pay for a driver for the rest of your life.
What are you doing? The report is that Tiger, quote, doesn't want anyone to watch over him or know what he is doing. And basically, he thinks he's fine to drive, but that it's a privacy thing. Which I would say that it's not a privacy thing. It's an addict thing. Yeah. That is addict behavior of being dishonest. And I hope that for his sake, that Tiger gets actual help and tries to figure out a way to get over his addiction. But this is obviously addict behavior. It's so easy to go, oh, just get a driver. He doesn't want a driver because he knows what he's doing is
correct.
Damaging, and he doesn't want anybody to tell him that he needs to get help, which he obviously needs to get help. So I just wanted to bring that up because everybody got focused on the drive. Should he just hire a driver, Tiger, and then bring up like, oh, is he going to play in the Masters next week, or what is this going to do for him being in the Masters? Dude, I hope the Masters is like 1,000 on his list of priorities at the moment. This is a guy who really needs help.
He does. And, you can go back to his statement in 2017 after he got his last DUI, and it wasn't alcohol-related either. He's like, well, I just mixed medications, and I didn't know it would have this type of effect on me. It's like, yeah, that's the excuse, and right? That's the lie every time. And I'm sure that happens. You know what I mean? I got my wisdom teeth taken out. And my reaction was, I didn't know if I would taken my pill that I had to take, my painkiller. And if I took 2, I'm certainly not going to be able to drive. But you know what I mean? That was the risk. I know that can happen. Tiger's not at that point anymore.
No. That's
not where Tiger is. Tiger's not like, weird thing. I had a knee surgery and I didn't realize that I'd taken a pill. It's like, no, Tiger, this has been your life for too long now for that to be the excuse.
Well, if you're hiding from a driver, you can't have that excuse.
Correct.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And it's not a privacy issue. Well, it is, but it's not that.
Well, it isn't when you're going out in public with this issue and then you're endangering your and other people's lives. I mean, it's not a privacy issue at that point.
No.
His desire to keep things private might be the cause, but that's not the reason why we're here today. He can fix this.
It's not a privacy issue from the standpoint of, oh, won't you let me live my life?
Yeah.
No, it's a privacy issue of, well, if I get a bodyguard and they know that I have a pill addiction, they're going to tell me to stop or tell somebody else or tell the press or whatever, right? It's sad. I'm glad nobody's been killed, including Tiger himself.
Including Tiger, yeah. Certainly nobody else, but yeah. He's always led this private life, and he's always tried to, have this protected image, and clearly that seems to be hurting him at this point in his life.
Well, yeah, I would say. But I couldn't believe I heard people be like, whoa, is he going to still make the Masters? Well, I probably wasn't going to play in the Masters in the first place. And second of all, I hope he's at Betty Ford, honestly. I hope he's not in Augusta.
Yeah.
I hope he's drying out somewhere.
Yeah. Friday morning. So I like to hit the thrift stores quickly, sometimes before the show, because I drop my daughter off and I have all this time before the show starts. And I saw a Tiger Woods shirt on the rack Friday morning, and I almost bought it. I cannot. I had it in my hand for so long before I put it back, and I thought, ultimately I don't need it. And I can't imagine buying a Tiger shirt the day he gets a DUI.
Rough.
Should have worn it today.
Should have worn it today. Should have bought it.
Did something happen with Tiger?
Still have Tiger's back. You know what? I do love Tiger. Tiger's been one of my favorite athletes on the course that I've ever followed. Includes, LeBron and everyone we've ever seen locally, et cetera, et cetera. Like his level of dominance, his comeback stories have been great. It's not cute when it's self-inflicted. It's just not. There's one thing of, my back hurts, or, the toll I've taken on my body. To still be able to win late in my career is very cool. That can be a cool story. Not when you're doing it to yourself. Not when you're not willing to help yourself or get help. That's not cute for Tiger Woods anymore. And this is it. At this point in his life, it doesn't look like this is going to end well.
Well, I don't know. Yeah, I'm sure it's hard to come to grips with. Like people will understand addiction. Especially if you are a guy who's coming off all very public surgeries and had all these things, and then the car accident. I mean, heaven forbid, people have people in their lives that have gotten addicted to opiates or whatever through very similar circumstances. I know I do. I have somebody in my life that's had a shoulder surgery, and that's exactly what happens. People can understand, if not relate, to what you're going through. What you cannot do is get behind the wheel of a car and drive like a crazy person so much that you roll your car because you're so impatient to get around a guy pulling a window washing trailer.
Yep.
That's crazy.
Yep.
So I hope he gets help. And honestly, I hope, people do understand. People should understand. Just can't drive, dude.
Yep.
Can't do that.
Yep.
All right. Stay tuned. We will get to more coming up next. Is Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
I sold my car in Carvana last night.
Well, that's cool.
No, you don't understand. It went perfectly. Real offer, down to the penny. They're picking it up tomorrow. Nothing went wrong.
So, what's the problem?
That is the problem. Nothing in my life goes as smoothly. I'm waiting for the catch.
Maybe there's no catch.
That's exactly what a catch would want me to think.
Wow, you need to relax.
I need to knock on wood. Do we have wood? Is this table wood?
I think it's laminate.
Okay, yeah, that's good. That's close enough.
Car selling without a catch. Sell your car today on Carvana. Pickup fees may apply.